All right, so today, hey, Day Miami fans, we start with another podcast. It's like a podcast, a clip, whatever content that we're creating for you guys, the community. And today we have a very good friend of mine and a very well-known artist in the local community, Golden, formerly Golden 305, Golden now, nice and clean, in studio with his beautiful daughter, Angie. And we're missing my beautiful daughter, Victoria, who's on the way soon to join us. This is a podcast dedicated to art in Miami and the industry itself. So everyone, congratulations. Thank you, Golden, for coming. Okay, so personally, I know you, okay? And I think this comes off strong in the beginning, but for those of you, or for the people who do not know who Golden is, right? And you're a very humble person. I don't want you to be humble here, right?
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that.
Yeah. Who is Golden?
Golden is the most amazing person in the world. No, mentira. Golden is a street artist born and raised in Caracas, Venezuela. Moved to Miami in 1996. And I've been here since then. And I've been doing doing life, working, doing the thing, painting. And for the last 14 years, I've been a full-time professional artist.
Okay. And professional art meaning you focus on?
Well, professional, I mean, I support my family and I live off my art.
Gotcha.
It's not a hobby. It's what I do to sustain my family and my way of living.
Got you. Entonces, take me back a little bit to how you've told me the story before. I think it's something very interesting. Why you made, at what age, and why you made the transition from Venezuela as an immigrant and came to Miami for a better life.
Well, I was young. I was maybe 18, 19, and got a little bit of trouble down in Venezuela. Like, it was wild, very wild, and I always painted. I always did graffiti. I did tattoo. I started like at an early age, 1986. Actually, today I got the video of one of the guys sent me on an interview, me and my mom, where my mom tells the story of the first time she caught me doing graffiti. I was 10 years old. She caught me in the highway. I got my ass whooped, man. It was
like a good old Hispanic mom.
Yeah, the chancla power.
Yeah.
So I went through art school. I went to graphic design. I came. Then Venezuela started getting bad. I was really like wild. I didn't have a north. So the opportunity came for me to come here and study. And I came. I started going to school, and then I met Ange's mom, which I didn't met her. We
knew each other from Venezuela.
From Venezuela.
Oh, wow. And then reconnected in Orlando once they got here because he found out my mom was living in Miami.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
There was no internet. There was no way. Like, we went to the same.
How'd you find out that she was here?
My friend, we went to the same school when we were young, like in 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade.
Like middle school.
And then I got kicked out of that school, and then I started going wild. So we lost contact. There was no internet, no social media, no that shit, right? My friend worked at the airport as a luggage. How you call that shit?
The baggers.
Baggers. Yeah. When that was a thing, remember?
Yeah.
It was like a mafia, bro. He would make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So he was there.
And now you see the videos of people just throwing shit.
The luggages.
Right? Before it was like a thing. You need to inherit that gig from your parents. So, but it was great because he was like the internet or like the social media for us.
No way.
Because he meets everybody that comes into Miami. He was there. So he would call me one day. He's like, yo, Maura's here. I'm like, what? So he took her phone number, gave it to me. I called my wife. I called my now wife. We've been married for 25 years. And then we met, and we started hanging out. So by the time I graduated and I wanted to go back home, she was pregnant with my wife.
Wow.
With my
so
baby.
Angie's your first baby.
Yeah.
You have 3 in total.
I got 3.
Yeah.
I got Angie, Saki, and Gabi. And then she was pregnant. I'm like, okay, let's hang out a little bit. Let's stay here. And then we'll go. And then a couple years later, she's older. Let's go. I always wanted to go back.
You wanted to go back to Venezuela?
We did go back for a little bit. We went back for maybe 3 years solid, and then we came back and we're on and off like 3 months there, 3 months here, 3 months there.
It was just too bad. Yeah. Like, by the time we went back.
Those Caracas?
Yeah. Caracas. It was just really, really dangerous, really bad. But like by the time I wanted to go back, then she's like, I'm pregnant again. I'm like, fuck. And then that's it.
So tell me, what is the biggest difference between living with your family in Caracas, Venezuela, and living with your family in Miami, Florida?
Wow, bro. We were lucky. I had a nice job. My family had a couple big factories, so I was pretty good. So I got a nice job. I got great salary. I got money. We bought a car. I bought a gun. I bought a motorcycle.
Okay, good.
I bought a motorcycle just to be able to go.
Yeah, because traffic there is terrible.
And when they're in trouble, I could go quick to whatever.
I was never allowed on the motorcycle with my dad.
Yeah.
I was allowed to get on the motorcycle with anyone else other than my dad.
Yeah, I'm pretty wild on the motorcycle.
They had a hit on you or something?
No, it's just
No, it was just horrible. He would go,
like
if there was traffic, he'd go through, like, the middle of the... No, not even in between the cars. Like, La Acera, that divides, like, which ways you go.
You're that
he
guy,
would go in the middle, like, garbage bags and everything.
But I go to Colombia a lot because my wife is Colombian. We go there, and Bogota is traffic hell. I've been to Caracas. I went to several times over there. And the traffic in Bogota, you see the guys on the motorcycles. That's the only way you get around.
Yeah.
If you want to go 6 miles, it'll take you an hour and a half on a car.
So I bought a motorcycle just in case they got stuck, a car broke down, they get kidnapped or something. I just like go quick, you know. So, but we were doing pretty good. And even though we were doing pretty good, we have a nice apartment in a nice area, super safe. The kids were going to a private school, super nice, at the best place. And it still was a struggle. Like, my wife was not used to it. She, you know, it's a lack of everything. The power will go off 4 or 5 times a day. Yeah.
When we first moved in, we didn't know that you needed to buy, like, your own tank of hot water.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then
no. In your apartment, you had to put it, like, the tank of water that you were going to use in your apartment, and would fill up.
A nice apartment, nice building.
Yeah. Like, it was a nice thing. And one day we were like, there's no hot water in our apartment. And they were like, did you buy your tank of water? And we were like, no.
I come from work. The first day, I'm like, oh, it's no water. Okay, well, I'll take it out tomorrow. Then the next day, the same shit. So I'm like, I go downstairs. I'm like, I talk to the conserje. Conserje is the guy that takes care of that building, right? I'm like, yo, like, what's up with the water? Like, I haven't taken a shower today. He's like, which apartment you move in? I'm like, this one. Oh, you got to get your own water tank. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, you got to take a closet out and put a water tank in a pump. I'm like, what? So I ran and bought like a tank.
To fix it all up.
So all these little things that we not used to here, like everything here works and it's nice.
Yeah.
So it kept adding up into, like, you know, the comfortable life living. And then like 2-3 years into it, one day I come home and my wife was the kids and she's like, we're leaving now. You coming or you staying? I mean, I'm leaving too.
It was really complicated too because my brother growing up had a lot of health issues and the doctors over there just didn't know how to help him.
Yeah, and no insurance.
No, nothing. Even like the private, like over there you have like the private doctors or like the public hospitals, and they were like both through the ground. None of them were.
I was cool with it, but she was not comfortable with the kids and all these little things. So she's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I think like us men are like, most of us will be able to like live anywhere or adapt to an environment. For the wives, it's a little bit different, you know.
Yeah,
especially if you have the option to come here. And,
for sure.
Like if it's available, if it's you got to do it, you got to do it, you know. But you have an option.
I think in my mind, I try to go back for so long, and I have such a beautiful childhood growing up there that my memories will make me believe that it was going to be the same.
So you can relive it,
but it was not the same. It was definitely not the same, you know. Like at one point, we live in this area, but to get in and out from the building, we have to go to this kind of like favela, and like Monday mornings, they'll throw the dead people into the road. Wow. So we have to drive with them with their eyes closed, and the people were just laying around.
Wow.
We also couldn't stay in the apartment from Friday to Sunday, so we would leave to my grandma's house in the city from Friday to Monday.
Why is that?
Because the building was the tallest thing in the middle of the favela. So they would get drunk and like shoot at the building because it was the highest point.
Yeah, a couple of nights I got bullets inside the house.
Wow.
The kids rooms. So it's wild.
And there's nobody's gonna get caught for shooting at the building.
Yeah,
you don't know where
everyone's shooting.
It's the planet underneath you. You know, it's like a funny story. I was the boss of this factory.
Okay. So. Again, my daughter just stepped in. Victoria Moya. This is the first conversation we're having with father-daughter duo, and I think father-daughter in awe. And actually, you guys are the second and third girls that are on. The first one was Vanessa, so it's usually been male dominated.
Nice.
Right.
Girl power.
So going back, okay, so you had a choice between Miami and Venezuela.
Yes.
You came to Miami. Your wife said, "Hey, I said we're done.
Yeah,
We're
we
going to
came
Miami."
back. And then, I did the family. I have the 3 kids. I worked as an immigrant. I did everything you can imagine, anything. And then I always drew and worked as a designer and all that. And always involved with art and painting, but never did graffiti because I was afraid of getting caught. I was the only income in my home, and I didn't know the laws. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Here in Miami.
Yeah, I didn't want to get deported. And I have these 3 babies that were depending on me. So for a long time, I did not do graffiti until one time I told my wife, like, I'm going to go and paint after I got my citizenship. So I this is it. I can't get deported. I might go to jail, but I'm not going to get deported. So I'm going to go and paint. I'm going to find a mural to paint. And it was Art Basel in 2012 or something. So I came to Wynwood and I met with some friends, and then I did my first mural here. And I did graffiti before. We did graffiti a couple times, but not the mayor. Once with Ange, how old were you?
It was like 7.
Yeah.
He had painted, so he would come home every night from his 9 to 5, and he would eat and we would all be asleep, and I would run outside and we'd paint the characters that we have now.
This is how he started painting.
This is how we
which I was
started
going to ask
painting.
you, how did you start painting? But go into
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I would run out with a box of crayons and paper, and he would start drawing and I would start coloring. I was really young, and then as I grew older, the character started to mature. But he painted this one time, this octopus, and I painted it green and purple. And he went to Home Depot and bought Rust-Oleum spray paint.
Because I was in charge of the kids. My wife went.
She
somewhere.
went.
should
She
be
went
working.
on a cruise.
So I was with
She went on
them.
a girls'
not the
trip.
day. Yeah.
So he was with us for 2 days, and so he saw the octopus and was like, I need to paint this right now. He took us all to Rust-Oleum. I remember I had this little Dora backpack, you know how he has the backpack, the purple one? Filled it with spray paint, drove to Wynwood, and the RC Cola was still kind of open to the public, you can say. So I remember we were there, and
It was
tiny little...
you can just do whatever.
Exactly.
You want.
So we all snuck in, and there was this group of guys painting, just throwing cans.
So your father
drinking,
takes you to
the RC
the
Cola.
old Wynwood before.
The RC Colas were
RC Cola
everything
plant.
Exactly. The RC
Yeah.
Colas were everything.
With some
started. With
random
some
people to
that
spray
were
paint a
already there
warehouse.
painting. And
Yeah,
he
but
had this
I
little
put the
picture
paint
in my backpack, and so
because
I
I
was
know they
carrying it.
cannot check her.
Oh, so you
And
put the
just
paint in
in
her.
case,
God
I
damn.
was carrying this little Dora backpack filled with spray paint, and I was like, I have no clue where we're going. I'm just gonna go. We get inside, and this group of people are talking.
No, but
and
before
he asked,
we got to go through a hole in the fence.
Yeah.
It says no trespassing.
Oh, so you snuck in.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, it
It's
was not open to
Yeah,
public,
no,
but
no,
it was
no.
free for all.
Exactly.
And then she's like, what trespassing means? And I'm like, she's little.
How old is she? It
was 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, it means we should not go there. And we were inside. And she's like, so let's go. I'm like, wait. Let's just do this. I've been waiting 10 years for this. Wait.
So we start walking in, and it's a very big open area, but once you walk a little bit forward, it's there's a roof. So it's kind of covered, but it's still outdoors. There was this massive group of kids just in the middle, and he goes
They were
up to them
taking pictures of these girls.
and was like, yo, can I spray paint here? What's up? Tell me, what's gonna happen? And he was like, oh, no, you do whatever you want, but if you get caught, you're gonna go to jail, it's illegal. And I was like, what's illegal? And my dad was like, well, that we're going to go to jail if we get caught. And I freaked out. I was 7 years old carrying this backpack of spray paint, freaking out because I was
crying.
like, oh my God, it was
Yeah.
horrible. So we go into this little room. I remember the only enclosed area in the whole thing. He goes in and
Because
starts
it was the only
painting.
place I could keep, because I was with the other kid too.
Yeah, with my little brother.
So it was the only place I could paint and keep him
Keep them in the same area to
And
And it
watch.
was all
exactly.
kinds of stolen cars and
It was
sharp
really
things
dope.
and photos of nasty shit. It was dangerous. So I wanted to paint, but I also wanted to make sure they don't die.
So
That
my
they're
brother,
safe.
no clue. He's 2 years younger than me, so he's 5 at this point, 4 around there. He grabs 2 spray paints and literally goes around every mural, just straight lines of color everywhere.
Oh my
I
god.
didn't notice. I noticed when we
didn't
were
notice.
leaving. We
And
see
he
2
was-
lines through the whole.
Oh my
it's
God.
Humongous warehouse. He just grabbed 2 cans
And just
and just
surround
walked
every
through the
mural.
whole thing and damaged everything.
It was crazy. But we
Do
were
not say
painting-
nothing about it.
No, we can't. Producer,
No.
producer,
You can
good
pause.
enough.
It's not
How long
bad.
ago was this? We,
No,
No,
time
it
ago, and
it
this was
a
a
long
child.
time.
you know.
Yeah. But we were painting, and so I was still freaking out. My brother was doing whatever he was doing.
He
with
was
his
fine.
face. Yeah, he was great.
Oh, he was loving it.
And these kids threw like a bottle, and it echoed, and I lost it because it sounded like sirens. And I was like, "Oh my god, Dad,
done.
we need to go. We need to go. We need to go." I started crying, and he was like,
we
"Let
have
me
to go because
finish."
she got really scared.
And he would like paint. He was telling me to let him finish, so he would paint, put the can down, and I would put it in my backpack. And so he'd go down to grab it, and I had the backpack on already. So he'd turn me around, open the backpack, take
Wow.
the can out.
Damn.
And so he was
And
like,
for
"Okay,
me, it
let's
was
go."
like, finally, I can literally.
Finally, I can do what I want.
Exactly.
But I couldn't with these kids.
and what were you trying to paint? You were just practicing what you were
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
No,
It was just
like-
this little octopus that he
It's
did.
one of the little characters we drew on the paper because the mom was not there, and I was like, "Get him, man! Let's just fucking go and do it right now." I was really doing it because the mom was not there. She always keep me in check. Like,
Yeah.
"Hey, don't do crazy shit. Go work in the morning. We're gonna
Yeah,
raise this kid."
yeah,
But
typical,
she
like-
was not there. I'm like, that's it, freedom. So I went in and did it, and we couldn't finish. We have to go. She really
It
panicked.
was.
And, but then that's it. After that day,
Did your wife ever find out, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tell
I
your
was.
mom?
As soon as she got home, I was like, "Oh my god, my dad
you
told me
got
this
in
for
trouble.
something
I got in
illegal."
trouble.
I took her once to. We were having a dinner at Chi, and I took her once to East, the room, the little club upstairs.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you know how they have
Oh,
like
yeah, I
this little
was
private
15.
room? I forgot what that little private room. That's like a private door you walk through, and it was like a club, whatever. We hang out for a while, whatever. She goes home, talks to her mom, tells her mom, and I get a phone call. I can't believe you took Victoria to a place that has naked women. And this and that. And I'm like, it wasn't naked women. It was girls like, just dancing in lingerie, like a show,
Friendly girls.
I was watching her, there was nothing wrong with that.
Same thing. I was watching that. Just like the environment was. Too
Yeah,
much.
it wasn't. The environment was definitely.
But
a little
after
too much.
that, I that's it. After that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to paint. Like I always draw in my sketchbooks with her at nights, and I paint. I do canvases, things in my house. But after that, I got this bug back. Like I wanted to paint every
So
day.
when did you know like this is what I want to do? Like what age more or less?
Well,
what,
all my life, I painted all my life.
Gotcha.
Like since I was little, before back then, I'm 50. So, but when I was young, there was no information about things. But I'm sure I have all the ADDs, HDDs you can have as a child.
I'm with you.
The only thing that kept me was art. So since very, very early, I was in drawing classes, art classes, sculpture classes, everything that was related to art, I was put on. That was the only way I was able to sit down in a place. I didn't finish high school. I went to 8th grade only, but I did have 3 degrees in art and design. So I always been involved with that. I always painted. I always done art, and my family also has a lot of art on it. My mom was an art dealer.
Oh wow.
An art curator, pretty big. So I've been involved with that all my life. My dad draws too, and it's really good. So all my life is the answer to that question, But
Yeah.
when that turns into a way of living,
That's
it's
what I was gonna ask you too.
correct. It's after that day.
Gotcha.
Because when I grew up, I'm the youngest grandchild of a family of 9 engineers. So, and I did tattoos and graffiti and painted, and I was like the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
And they always tell me like artists will be broke, artists will be like before it was not cool. Like
It wasn't
now,
cool.
you know what I mean?
It was a lot harder to get known.
Yeah.
No, it was
Not
just you
only
won't be
known,
getting known.
But
And you get known
the
after you
family
die.
Also,
Correct,
like
correct.
his family thought he was crazy.
Correct. And then it was
Because he would
against it.
just do graffiti. He would
Correct.
paint this fish, and his name is Christian. So he would write his name Christian in like in the ribs of the fish, like the spines,
To hide it.
to hide it. And that's how his mom caught him, because she was reading it, and his name is spelled different, so the H isn't where it usually is when you spell Christian. So his mom read it and was like,
That's how she found out you were doing
That's
graffiti
how-
and stuff.
Well, no,
Yeah.
she saw me doing it.
Oh,
But then I told her that it wasn't me, whatever. But then the fish that she saw me says Cristhian and the fish bones.
Watch you.
But then I also used it. She went to my stove and she saw the same fish everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, this fucking fish is in the whole city, and it is you.
Yo, you were tagging up the whole city?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, not the whole city. I was young.
Yeah, but Venezuela.
Like
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
my
like
area.
around your
Neighborhood and stuff.
neighborhood.
So
Yeah.
she's seeing this fish and she's getting home. Like, oh, who's
Exactly.
doing this? Who's doing this? And it's your son.
And she caught me on the highway when I was 10, and I ran home. I tried to run before her to the back. But it was
She caught you?
Oh yeah, she was waiting at the door.
And that's old school Hispanic mom.
Oh, yeah.
La
And
cascoba.
my abuelo I was raised with my abuelo.
Yeah.
So I got my ass kicked right
Yeah,
then and
yeah.
there, like fist on the face kind of shit.
And you learned.
Not really.
Not really.
But I got a cool story.
Yeah. So you went.
So there,
Yeah.
that day that I did that with her, because for many years I stopped because I was doing the family and I was afraid because of the situation, the legal situation. But then that day, that's it. So I got him when I painted on that wall. I'm like, this is what I need to do. So since that day, took me a couple years to start painting seriously, but that was my focus. You know, that's what I.
And when did you feel like, okay, like I think I can monetize this? Like I'm good enough where I think I can take this to another level.
Well, I met this guy, right, in 2013, 14. I'm driving around Wynwood, running Arbazo, and I see this black guy with dreadlocks painting this humongous mural from a forklift in a pallet. Somebody was moving it. He's standing on the pallet, and the forklift going up and down. And he's painting this octopus, and every tentacle of the octopus is $100 bill. And it's pink and greens, and I'm like, mesmerized by this fucking thing. So I drive by once and I see it, and then I drive by again, like at the end of the day, and he's like halfway to the wall, this massive thing. I'm like, wow, this guy is incredible. So the next morning, I take my sketchbooks to show him, and I go to see him. He's there painting, and I say hi to him. The guy is Dominican. His name is Ruben Ubiera. For me, is the most talented artist here in Florida, period.
Wow.
So he comes to I thought he was black, like American, you know? But he's Dominican, and then he comes out, oh, ¿qué pasó? And I'm, oh, this guy's
Caribbean
cool as fuck.
blood.
Yeah. So we start hanging out, and then he's telling me, so he asked me, do you paint? I'm like, yeah. And then, let me see. I got my sketchbooks. So he sees my sketchbooks, and he's like, yo, this is incredible. Like, nobody does stuff like this, very few. I'm like, cool, man. I just paint it with my daughter. And we start talking. We hang out for 2 days, and then I ask him like, "Yo, I wanna help you paint. I wanna learn.
I want to get in on the murals.
You call me, and I go help you for free." And he's like, "I wanna call you when I have money for you. I mean, you don't have to pay me. Like, I'll go for free. Just let me know. I wanna learn. I wanna learn out." So it took him a year. I would come every Friday because I can only paint on weekends. I would come every Friday. I'm like, hey, what's up, buddy? It's me. You remember me? The guy from Venezuela? Oh, yeah. No, nothing. I'll call you when I need you. And I would call him every Friday. He was like my light at the end of the tunnel, you know what I mean? And then for a year, I called him every Friday. He never. But then one day, on a Thursday, I see my phone, and it's him. And he's like, oh, you got, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm painting with you. I mean, I get goosebumps on me. I'm like, I'm painting with you. And he's like, yeah, you are. I got $500 if you help me on the weekend. And I'll make like $500 on a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll be there anywhere, at any time. And he's like, be at this school tomorrow at 7 a.m. I'm like, I'll be there. So I'll go there, and I'll take my barbecue with me because I'm like, I'm going to get hungry. And I don't want to go and eat. I just throw something so I can keep painting. And that's how the barbecue shit comes around. Because I took it with me just not to leave painting, because for him and for everybody else in that festival, they'll paint every day. For me, that was like a once.
Opportunity.
I never imagined I was going to do it again and do it again. So I wanted to enjoy it as much as possible. So I took my barbecue with me. And when he saw the barbecue, he's like, what is that? I'm like, oh, yeah, I just brought some steak and some beer just in case. So light that shit up. So we lit the barbecue up and we started painting for the whole weekend. And everybody came. It was like 16 artists painting there. They all came and hang out and barbecue.
So you started the artists painting murals and doing a cookout pretty much next to the painting as it's being produced.
Yeah.
Next to the wall.
That's
so
pretty smart.
Right in the back
leave.
of the pickup truck.
And you have to be, this is an invite only barbecue, or can I go? Or
Well, no.
because I never seen this online or anything.
This was for me and him. I just want to.
That was
want to
their
leave.
lunch.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It was
wasn't
lunch.
meant to
At
be
that
like
time,
a
it
big
wasn't what it is now.
No, for sure, no.
Now it's
That's
it's
a
a
party.
thing. Everyone says that the hands covered in paint gives the food a different taste.
Oh wow!
So nasty. I don't even know how they eat that shit. I would have eaten it for myself.
So you're just grabbing meat for paint?
Yeah.
Well,
we're
no, we
painting,
set it up nice, but
you're in the street. Like
Yeah.
you have everything on the street. You're in the middle
I've
of
been
the
painting
road.
all day. You know,
We're sweaty.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah,
smoke
also when you're
cigarettes. So
super,
Yeah.
there's ash hanging here. You know.
when you're super like locked in, like you don't care. You just like
No.
grab it and whatever.
And after a day of painting, all you want to do is eat, and the only thing there is barbecue, and that smells delicious. You don't care what's on it.
It became pretty popular, but that's how it started. So this guy gave me that day $500 for those 2 days, and I'm like, I got drunk twice, and he paid for all the meat because I brought enough for me and him. But once that shit started, when everybody started coming, he told me to go grab more meat, and he gave me his car. So he paid for all the meat and all the beer, and we drank and cook and eat and paint all weekend. And I went home with $500. I'm like, I need to make sure that this happens
every weekend.
every weekend. But I never thought about it that time. And then the next weekend, he called me again. I mean, yo, I need help because I'm a really good worker.
Yeah.
I've done everything you can imagine to survive and raise my family. So he's like, yo, I got another. He gets a lot of work, and he's like, yo, I have another work. You want to work? I'm like, yeah. And then that became a thing. And then I worked for this guy for like 5 years, and I owe him everything I am. I love this guy, and he taught me so much. He gave me. He's so. ¿Cómo se dice cuando no? When you're like.
He's humble.
He gives. He just gives and gives and gives, and he really doesn't. He doesn't.
Doesn't
take
expect anything in return.
Not at
Yeah,
all.
and he's like so
It's
open.
unconditional.
Yeah.
Unconditional.
100%.
So he taught me all these things. He taught me. He
And
introduced
with
me
all
to
of us.
everybody. That was the most important thing.
The
'Cause
context.
I didn't know anybody in Miami, the painter, nothing.
Yeah.
My work was different. So he introduced me. He took me to all these gigs, all these festivals, and introduced me to everybody. And he's like, no, this is cool. He's
But
fucking amazing.
People underestimate the power of like networking.
Oh my
You know,
God.
that is
100%.
especially in Miami.
priority number one. And now growing up too, a lot of people think that just using and leveraging social media accounts and like, hey, yeah, I know them, but through social media, it's not
It's
as
not the
deep as
same.
like knowing someone in person. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. No, this guy did for me, changed my life.
You don't know
like,
anything
literally,
through
he
social
changed my
media.
life.
Yeah, I mean, I even like I'll have opportunities where I'll see someone in the streets that I know on social media. I won't miss that opportunity. I'll
Yeah.
tell them
Yeah.
something like, "Hey, how's that kitchen you put in?" You know, like, or how's that new job you have, or something like. You kind of like know them, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity to like make a deeper. And a lot of the clients and stuff we get are referrals, and I met you through social
I
media.
don't even have a website. I only get stuff by
contacts.
Instagram.
Yeah, I met you through social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you came, you did our office and everything,
Yeah.
and we hung out for a couple of days there. That was a nice
So,
office.
so this guy introduced me to everybody, and this was very special because now I was part of something. You know what I mean? It was just not me trying to fucking fit in. I was already deep, like balls deep in. Like everybody, oh, that's Golden, that's Ruben's guy, and everybody loved Ruben, and he's super respected.
Yeah.
So that put me into another level, and then a couple of years after that day, I started working for him full time. And I told my wife, when people ask me, like, what's the best day of your life? People think I'm going to say, like, when my kid was born or all that shit.
The day he got married.
It's not. It was that day when I have a pickup truck with one of the tool cases on the back. It was full because I used to do property maintenance and change toilets and plumbing. It was nasty.
Yeah, handyman work.
Yeah.
The best day of my life was the day that I was able to take all those tools out of that case and fill them up
And
with
fill them with
brushes
spray
and
cans.
rollers and spray.
Wow, man.
not when my kids were born, not the day I came from the dead from my heart
Angie, how do you
attack.
feel about
heart
that?
surgery, yeah.
That
feel
day,
great.
that day was the best day of my life because then shit turned around into something epic, you know,
Yeah.
like, and then every day I will do what I want to do. I will go and paint and barbecue and hang out. It was just epic after that.
Yeah, not only were you a great worker, but you also made the environment more fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm
yeah.
sure they liked your energy, not only like the energy you put in, but the energy you gave.
Yeah, and we feed a lot of hungry people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, we have
Oh my
lines.
God.
We have lines.
Yeah.
I have people with money. Like one day I was cooking, and then I turn around and it's a line of people and they have money. They're like,
Ready to pay you.
they
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm selling food. I'm like, yo,
Golden's Cafe, yeah.
we're not selling food. This is
barbecue.
and I give them to them. I'm like, yo, like I let you try it because once you waited for something and that shit looks nice. So I make little, but it's like we have lines of people.
Yeah.
We have barbecues with a couple hundred people show up. It's kind of crazy.
You have something? You want to ask something or?
So
I do have a question for you. I was telling you a little bit earlier, she just got accepted to SCAD in Georgia,
Congratulations.
thank you.
art school. And I think the artists struggle a lot into how do you end up monetizing your work, you know? I think that's usually the biggest key. It has a lot to do with marketing, obviously producing good work, network, things along those lines. Where was your first, like, apart from the job that you had, your paid own personal gig? How did that come about? When, you know, tell me a little about that experience.
It was a Guadalupe Virgin. I am a big believer on the Guadalupe Virgin. Then this is years before all this that I told you. Me and my wife, we got our first home, and we bought nice furniture, modern, super cool, painted with bright colors. Back then it was like yellows and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the apartment was like.
Now it's
bright
all
colors
grays and
everywhere.
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it's gonna go back to yellows. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I got my Guadalupe Virgin that my mom gave me and my grandmother gave me, and I've always put it in my door. I want to see her every day, right? And then I put it up. My wife's like, hell no, she doesn't believe it or not. She's like, you ain't putting that ugly ass antique virgin in my new living room. And she says, if it was a Brito was super hot back then. You know Romero Brito?
Yeah, of course. I was spinning. We have some of us at the house.
Correct. He said, if it was a Brito, then yeah, but this ugly ass thing. I'm like, okay. So I painted a Guadalupe,
Like-
just like,
Like
Brito.
Brito.
Just like Brito.
Same thing.
And then I took it home and then listen, I got a Brito and it's the Guadalupe. Oh my God, I love it. And all the friends like, oh my God, this is the best shit ever. And that's how she let me have it. Then like a week after that, we have the housewarming party. And then my friend came and he's like, yo, that's dope. I got buy it for you. I'm like, I'm not going to sell it. So I give you $400. This is 25 years ago. And I'm
There
like,
you go.
Here you go, buddy.
and then and that's when I really that day I really understood that you can really make money out of this.
Yeah.
You know, like before I didn't understand. I saw it as a hobby or as a passion, but I never saw it as a way of living. That day opened my mind. I didn't do too much after that, but that day is when I really understood. Okay, if I people will give me money for the things I make with my hand.
And I
And
still.
that was good.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think there's still a stigma in that today. Like there's an art show at Gulliver, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of kids know that I do art. Like I'm an artist. And so, so today one of the boys asks me, they're like, "Oh, have you ever even made money from art?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've sold like 3 or 4 paintings before." And they're like, "Oh, for how much?" And I tell them like one of the prices for one of the pieces, and they're like, "Oh my God, no way! You actually make money from that?" And I was
Yeah.
like,
It's
"Yeah,
still-
what
it's
do you
still a
think?"
stigma, you're
Still,
right.
people think
People
like
think
A
that
lot of
we-
people-
like the starving
You wanna
artist
make-
is still
yeah.
a thing, but
Oh, for
especially
sure.
nowadays, people are so into aesthetics, so
And
into
art especially.
It's like
all
they
types of
Social
art.
media
it's
is a
so
big
big
on
now
that.
that
A lot of
Show
people
everything.
ask me like, so you charge for this? I'm like, yeah. Like I need to fucking
feed my kids.
Yeah.
like, but they still think you do it for free,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
But I like that, the starving artist. You know?
Yeah.
The starving artist no more. You know?
Yeah, like I think it's a personal race. Like there's information out there. There is whatever I can tell you, but as a young artist, it's your own race. Like be true to yourself. Figure out your own path. Like do not. It's overwhelming the amount of information that is out there. Do not look at none of that. figure out your
Find
own way.
what works for you.
Yeah, your
Because
own
there's
style.
going to be so much information and everyone's going to try to give you
has to
different
have their own
advice.
opinion.
Yeah, and they're going
and
to be
don't
like,
look at
don't grab
time.
the brush like this, grab it like, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
And it doesn't. Don't look at time. Do not make it a race. It's not a
Yeah.
race. You're so young. I started at an old age, and I'm doing great. To make money on it. I think it's your own thing. It's your own pace. Like don't compare yourself to others. That's the worst. Make something that is original to you, and be real to yourself, and the money will come. You're a smart girl. Your dad is super smart. He makes lots of money. He's gonna figure it out and turn that into money.
I'm waiting for. I've told her before. I'm waiting for the right time. You know. I don't
Yeah.
need, Number one, I'm not a person that likes to chase stuff. You know, I like to let things happen. You know, when the time comes, you know, we'll be ready for whatever needs to happen.
You have a good support behind you. You just gotta figure out the part,
The
that
style.
the style, and what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna do it 20 hours a day, every day. You know what I mean?
Might as well make it be something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
think
don't
like
like to-
monetizing wise is not a problem anymore. You know,
No,
it's
it's
finding
not
something
anymore.
good that people want to
Yeah.
see and be a
Correct.
part of. You know,
Exactly.
That's
And
like,
it has a meaning, because now everything is meaningless. No disrespect to your art, but like
yeah.
like that.
Wait. Don't.
No, I'm not gonna
Okay.
say names.
No, I get it. Listen, that's a good conversation. You know, because I've asked you about that before.
Yeah.
Like, what separates you
And
from
she's
the
like,
other like
and
Miami
she's like, don't
artists?
get us
you know?
canceled. Don't get us
Like-
canceled right now.
Well, I mean,
So you have
it's-
artists that draw characters that already exist.
Exactly.
They just modify them. And then you have an artist like you that creates your own characters.
Correct.
Right? What do you see as the difference between that?
Well, the difference is that the difference is like one is an original painting, the other one is a copy. Now, listen to me. No disrespect to my colleagues, they do that, which I have a lot.
Oh.
And I don't see as more or less, but my characters are original and they're based off nothing. Like I make them, I create them, and I can do whatever I want with them.
How many do you have already?
140, 150.
Yeah.
The people that make these characters that don't belong to them, I don't think they really have a longevity in their art, because it's not their art. Who was like? Let's not.
Do you feel
not-
like they're kind of taking the easy way out?
I think so,
But
because
there's
for
people
me,
making a lot of money off of that, though.
Yeah.
exactly for
Because
me,
it's such
very
a known thing. The
Correct.
brand already put the work in for everyone to see a
Correct.
specific logo or a specific
Like
character and be
SpongeBob.
like, I want exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna want a SpongeBob.
Everybody
Everyone
loves
is
a
painting
SpongeBob. You
too.
saw it all your childhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
have a
And
connection
then
to
I
it.
show you
Exactly.
my little character that nobody knows.
And you're like, what
It's
is that?
unfair. It's an unfair competition. But I decided to stay with that because at the long run, it's gonna have a
Yeah,
lot more value.
you're. But I remember I talked to you about that once, and I said like, who do you want to be gold? Like, who do you want? How do you want people to remember you in the end? You know, and you had told me you want to be in the history books.
Absolutely. That's why I choose to be broke than just to paint SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse and Monopoly and sell lots of paintings. But those paintings, to the people that is buying them, they're not going to have any value unless you have a real painting from the guy that made Monopoly.
Gotcha.
For the guy, that's real
Yeah,
value.
From a value perspective, 100%.
And for an artistic
Yeah.
perspective too.
Yeah.
Decoratively,
I mean,
is
also-
now the thing.
Think about NFTs now. When NFT came out, people thought it was going to be such a big thing. It was
Yes.
going to change the world. Like in the art world, it declined super quickly at first. I mean, there's an NFT that Logan Paul bought. Now sells for like what?
Couple thousand
$11?
Yeah,
Oh,
they sold,
no.
they
He
bought it
bought
for like
$8,
$1 million.
yeah.
Yeah, he bought her.
He bought it for like $2 million, and now
you
it
have
sells
to be
for nothing.
careful. You have to be careful with social media and the internet, because you gotta see your race as a long-term race.
Yeah.
Do not get on gimmicks. Do not get on none of those bubbles, burst, popping things. Like I stay away from all that. I do my thing by myself. I'm
You focus on your stuff, yeah.
That's it. Like I don't see what everybody's doing. I don't get into trends. I don't do the same and figure something that is epic.
Yeah, make
At
your
least
own
for
trend.
you in your
Exactly.
mind,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Now, everybody here in the city knows about Wynwood. How many, at this point right now, how many walls in Wynwood are you managing and do you have?
Right now it changed because it's developing so
Yeah.
fast. And
In the
it's,
past couple of years,
and
it's
it's
been
not
crazy.
control. I'm going to tell you something that is, it's a shame. Wynwood was a special place because you cannot duplicate Wynwood. All these developers no disrespect to the developers that we hear in the show, they're trying to duplicate it. That's how we make our money. We travel to all these places in the world
And
that are developing areas, and they use art to do the same thing.
And it's called the Wynwood Effect. Is how they talk about it.
And it's taking like it's going throughout the nation.
Yeah,
through
it's
the world.
everywhere.
Like
Everywhere.
go
Everyone is
doing
trying
that.
to replicate Wynwood. There's been places here in Miami that have tried to replicate Wynwood, and no one even knows about it
The
because
problem,
it never lasts.
the problem is like they are trying to replicate it, but nobody took care of it. What we had it, we have the real deal. And why do we have the real deal? Because all these artists that started, we were not the ones that are right now on these walls. The ones that started, the real hardcore street artists that did all these epic murals at the beginning that make Wynwood what Wynwood is, they don't even come here anymore. They think it's a circus. Because nobody took care of the art, and they focus on developing the land and the property and the money.
Yeah.
But the art was left behind. So now, let's say in Wynwood, the main 8 streets, 2nd, 24th, 22nd, there's no more walls. It's all storefronts. They
All
knock all
windows.
the walls that we
Yeah.
used to paint at and bring all these people to see the art. They knock the buildings. They build buildings.
Yeah,
up.
have residential and everything around.
Storefronts, glass.
Now it's just
There's
like
no more
designer
walls.
stores.
No, it's just
There's
stores.
no more walls.
There used to never be franchises in Wynwood also, and now there's even like a Foot Locker.
Yes, I know them very well.
We were
We've
like-
helped them.
we
We
were
love
like-
Foot Locker.
Yeah, of course, me too. But what I'm saying
yeah,
is,
we love Foot
and it's
Locker,
not
but
his
it's the
fault. It's not Foot
develop-
No,
Locker's
no,
fault.
they're opportunistic. Like they see numbers
Yeah,
and they go to it. You know, that's
exactly.
it.
But
That's
it's
how they operate.
stupid. It's
Fully.
stupid. It's
But
because
that's the
like-
city's fault, I think.
Yeah, it's
or
not the
dis-
city. It's the
district.
developer. It's the developer. Because if you're going to build a building in Japan, would you go to Japan and just invest $100 million and build anywhere without thinking or knowing nothing about Japan?
No.
You're going to learn about the history. You're going to learn. Somebody's going to tell you what you're going to hire someone that understands the culture. They're going to tell you, do not use red because red means that it's bad and nobody's going to rent your building. You will learn about the culture and the history, and then you're going to invest your money, right? Nobody did that here. Yeah. So they killed the art. They brought them there. They paid the highest square foot price in America because of the art. And the first thing they killed is the art.
Wow, I didn't think about it like that. Now, I was hanging out with some people yesterday that they're in town from Mexico, and they told me that they went to Wynwood Walls, and I think they charge now like $11 or $15.
After COVID?
You know? So then, I guarantee you, the locals are no longer going to Wynwood Walls if you got to be paying that fee. No. So it's turned into a tourist trap now.
Exactly.
But it makes sense. I don't agree with it, but I do agree with it. It makes sense. They are the only ones now that have walls.
So they need to monetize it in order to keep it alive.
Yeah.
Correct.
Gotcha.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
And then they're the only ones that really have art that is meaningful, that is important, that is worth seeing. And then now they're paying the artists too. Before they did it, now they pay the artists. So it makes sense, but everybody else around it.
So it wasn't like a greedy thing where
No.
they're operating, they're putting it back into
the
evolution.
Yeah.
They're the only ones truly that still have like nice pieces of art.
For sure,
that
curated,
well thought,
world-class
good
art.
artists.
Like outside we have everybody else outside, but every time we have less walls and less people that wants to help. Because now, let's say this building, we used to paint 50 murals in that block. Every day, every year, rotating. Everybody from all over the world will come and paint. I'll provide everything. Art will get put up. Now, they knock the buildings down. They build storefronts, glass storefronts. They have 1 or 2 walls. And then now there's a board of architects that have no clue about art. And they want to curate what's on it. So once you control the art, it doesn't become art anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we'll let you paint, but we want to have
this logo
palm
and
trees.
then,
I'm like, no, the beauty of Wynwood was 2 things. The accessibility, that people can touch it. They can bring their dog, park the bike, stand in front of a yoga, post a picture with you're proposing to your wife. That was the beauty of it. And there was no control. An alien, a black cow, a guy dying, a girl naked. That was the beauty of it, the rawness of it. Once you
gave
control
everyone
it, you
the
lose that.
ability to have like creative freedom.
Yeah.
Correct.
Everyone that went to Wynwood was fully able to do whatever they wanted. People
poles,
would
the
go
lamps, the
and
scene,
try
everything was
different things
painting.
also, like new techniques. You'd go to Wynwood, you'd try it out,
Correct.
see how that
And-
went. There
and
was no
you
one
learn
telling you
from
no.
others.
Exactly.
Like you watch it, but you also will see the newest things,
Yeah.
the new techniques, the new. Oh my God, this guy is from Russia. I always follow him, but I never seen his shit. Now you can see how he paints his strokes. All that is gone. And now the developers are in trouble now because they pay top money for that. There's no parking. They have issues with the water system. They have issues with the electrical, issue with the internet. And now they have the tenants complaining about the noise. Because down there is all nightclubs, parties,
Yeah.
Yeah.
restaurants, smelly food. So now everybody that moved there initially is trying to move out. And they keep building these buildings and then the stores are paying top retail
love it,
prices.
yeah.
But there's no AC. The day that it rains, nobody goes there. The day that it's hot, nobody goes there. Now they have to deal with graffiti because people paint on the windows because they took the walls. So they tag the windows. So it's a big mess that nobody never fucking
Thought about.
thought about.
It wasn't.
I did, but no, but
It wasn't like a thought that people were like, well, if we take this away, then this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it's the developers that made it
a
because
good
they
point.
didn't got advice. It's so easy. You come and talk to a person like me, and I will tell you, listen,
You would have saved them a lot of money.
Yeah.
millions and millions, and I will make the place the coolest place on the
Yeah.
planet because the same block, instead of having 50 windows, you put 40 windows, and between every window you put a wall.
Yeah.
And that wall will keep constant artwork happening. It will benefit the businesses when they do live painting. They can use them and do collabs with artists, support the artists financially. They can also keep the area blooming with art constantly. Now they just disappear. And it was just so stupid of a solution. Instead of putting all these windows, put a piece of wall.
Yeah.
Between
Or
every
you could have
store.
even done like a wall, and like,
Window.
let's say it's like the corner of the building, right? And this is a sidewalk. You could have done like a space here, leave walls to paint, and like a little walkway where people can go through to get to the
Yeah.
other corner.
No, like in
and this could be
between- in
windows.
between the windows. So let's say this guy says flowers. You hire an artist to paint beautiful flowers in your
Correct.
front.
That's a good point.
And then the next one, I sell fucking shellfish. Freaking
But
hire.
they can still no, they can't do that anymore, right? They have storefront with
It
doors.
has all
They can't do
windows,
now
yeah.
that it's gone. It's like
There's
they
very
killed it.
few stores that have like a storefront of wall and then the door, but it's like very like I can count them on my hand.
And they're not allowed to paint on the storefront.
on the glass.
Yeah,
No.
you can't do that.
Yeah, but it loses the point.
Yeah.
Like how you have the goose with the golden eggs, and then you made a barbecue with the goose. Like, for that to happen again, it will never happen because it was like 7 planets and 3 stars aligned together for all these people that came and painted and made it happen in that area, the vision of Tony Goldman. So you can duplicate it now. And now what happens is like when people try to duplicate it, they're like, now they need to hire the artist because why you will go to Wichita Falls to paint?
Yeah.
You will go because they're hiring you.
Now,
so
so-
now there's
so-
a price, and now they have a saying, okay, I'm going to pay you this amount of money for the mural, but I want this. So it's like,
It's not even art
it will
anymore.
never
Because
be-
you're
it
just
will
doing your
never
job.
be.
There are many events, though, I will say, that do give you that freedom still of they will pay you and you're allowed to do whatever you want still. But it's very few.
But in
It's-
Wynwood, it's not.
In Wynwood, there's none.
What out of all the walls you've ever painted, what wall would you say, or what are your top 3?
The
I've
princess
painted a
one.
lot. Which one?
The princess one.
We made a little character of Angie, and it's a princess, it's a little princess. And we painted it in
Pennsylvania, in
York.
York.
In York, Pennsylvania. And it was Princess Street. So
Oh, wow.
we called it Princess at Princess Street. But I think when we painted in that day when she was little, then I told you that we snuck it into that place, the Arts Color Plant. Years later, I started working with the Bushwick Collective, which is an art collective from New York. They used to run all the walls here in Miami, in Wynwood. And Joe was my good friend. He used to help him with all the production and all the stuff. So the first time I met him, we did maybe 120 murals in Wynwood for
Wow.
Caracas. And then it was time for me to paint a mural for myself after all the work was done. And then he asked me, pick any wall you want in Wynwood. And I'm like, I want that one. inside the Arsicola where nobody can see it. And he's like, why? Like, you can pick any wall, like in the main street, anything. Like, he had all the walls. And he's like, yeah, I want that wall. He's like, I'll take it. It was the wall that I painted with her at that time.
Wow.
So we painted it together. And you were what, like a 12 or 13?
Yeah, I was a little bit older. I wasn't illegal this time. So.
Yeah. This time was your sanctuary.
So
Yeah, this time I was.
That was a special mural for me because of that, and that lasted a long time. I was there for a long.
Which one? What was it? What would you guys
It
paint?
says Miami,
Got you.
and we wrote
It was
inside
like
the
palm
black-
trees. It
palm
was
trees.
blue and it had like palm trees on the inside of like another shade, and it said Miami in block letters.
Yeah, and another epic wall was in Salem, Massachusetts. It was like 2007 or something. And we started a festival there, and this is like a very wide city. And we started in these two streets where my friend Ruben is from. It's called El Punto, it's the Latino neighborhood. And we started a mural festival there. And because they were always mistreated and not taken care, they didn't put those two streets into the historical importance of the city. So we got into a loop where we could paint all those buildings right in the middle of all this historical shit. And I did the first one with Ruben, and I remember when I started painting the ladies from across the street, from the nice area, they will come, and they came. One of the girls, do you remember that lady that hit me with a car?
Wow.
She came and she's like, "Stop! You can't do this. Stop!" I'm like, "Yeah, I can," and I just keep painting. I was on a lift, like 3-4 floors above, and she hit the lift.
The lift with her car.
I say stop. You know, bitch, I ain't stopping. I got permits. I got everything.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to see this every day of your life, either you like it or not.
And
Was it
also-
nice?
It was one of my characters.
Yeah.
But it was the hate and the hate that they have to these people in this neighborhood. You know, these are the workers.
Yeah.
They all work for them. The poor Latinos.
Got you.
The immigrants. And I'm like, bitch, you gotta wake up every day and look at it.
And that's not the
and deal
that's
with it.
and that's like a normal thing. In Salem again, for another mural festival, we painted a Virgin of Guadalupe, and it was in between two buildings. So Ruben was painting here. He was painting
Ruben Ubiera.
he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
painting right here. Paints stunning. And we were painting right in front. It was the Virgin. And this lady comes out and she's in a wheelchair, so she uses like the accessibility ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going down and she comes and tells him like, why do I get the ugly one on my building? Like, why do I get the ugly mural?
To me,
To
my
him,
mural.
yeah, he was we were all there, and she was like, "Why can't I get the pretty one on my building? Like, I don't want that. Take it off." And my dad like looks at her, and he kind of just lets her go. And every day she would come out and sit there and like talk shit about the mural, about how she hates it, this, and that.
And I'm painting it.
Yeah.
Without-
She's like,
she,
yo,
doesn't,
like-
she doesn't know it's you.
No,
No,
she's
she
she's
sees-
there.
she sees him painting,
She
and
doesn't
she's just-
understand what's happening.
Exactly. She just keeps giving her opinion of, oh, this is so shady. Why do I get the ugly one on my building? And the ramp that she comes out of is on that building. So she really doesn't see the mural unless she comes out. But she sees Ruben's mural.
Which is
so,
Ruben's sister, beautiful,
exactly,
with an eyeliner there.
stunning.
Some beautiful shit.
And so she comes out one day after like a week of shit talking, saying it's horrible. And she goes, now I get it. You guys put the pretty one across the street, so when I come out of my building, I can see that and not look at the ugly one. It was...
Oh my god.
I love
were
all
just-
that. That's what makes street art beautiful.
What? How many places? How many countries or cities around the world have you painted in?
I think like 30 something.
Because I know you went to Korea, no?
Yeah.
You
Twice.
painted in Korea, and they hired you to go over there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's
Oh
amazing.
yeah, Korea fight, bro. We
was
stayed.
a lot of fun.
Fucking, I love Korea.
Yeah,
We did all
she
the
was in
time.
I
Korea.
went there too. I love
VIP.
it.
They treat us VIP.
We did Ultra in Korea. That was
Yeah.
Oh,
a
and
lot of fun.
EDC, Ultra and EDC.
Those are some funny
This
stories.
is my friend from EDC. This is my friend from Ultra.
All right. Yeah, I don't know, but this is the last question here. So just to wrap up.
But let's talk about them.
Bueno, how is it? What did you say? You had to go somewhere? Or?
No, I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, let's
that's
go.
fine, yeah.
Okay, so I think my question first, will probably go to my daughter, and I would ask her, what is it that you like or that you find passion in art about? Like I know you're still a young artist, but what is it that you love so much about it?
It's the exact thing that Golden said. I haven't really, I guess, like, you were like, oh, I have, like, every ADD, HDD, like, everything in the book. I don't think I've ever put, and, like, I don't think I've ever cared enough to put any energy or anything into anything else but art. And they've tried putting me in everything. They tried putting me in every sport. They've tried and the one thing that stuck, that, like, I found so much love for, like, and you're in your own world when you do it, is art. And not even, like, just painting, like, every type. Like, what made me fall in love with furniture design was when I went to Chicago and I started working with wood. And that's when I was like, okay, this is something that I really love and something that I can definitely, like, make a career out of, and, like, I can incorporate into, like, every kind of art. I just did a stop motion film, like, mixed media stop motion film for fun, like, any sort of thing, making bracelets.
I love furniture design. I was born in a 100-year-old furniture factory family. Wow. And I was born in the carpentry. Yeah. Like, since day one, I breathe and sleep, nails and glue and wood. Like, yeah, all my uncles have furniture factories. My great-grandfather had furniture factories, and I was.
But that's crazy, because when she told me, I was like, oh no, what are you going to study? I was thinking, like, we tried to talk about doing architecture, etc. Yeah. And she was furniture design. And I was like,
I love it.
How to monetize furniture design.
It's a lot of money.
I started looking into it. I'm like, okay, what is this? What can I do? Okay.
It's good. It's good. My family did great with that for generations.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah. I think it's, especially now, I'm not saying that, of course, people have, like, an aesthetic that they want to follow, and they want that all throughout their life. I mean, all throughout, like, everything that they do, and whether it's in their home, on social media. And I think furniture can play a big role in that. And not only can I continue doing what I love, but I can do it in a way that I impact others, in, like, in the way that they're...
Be creative.
Yeah, and be creative.
I like painting. Yeah. Like, painting is the whole different thing. But yeah, I also create I do a lot of stuff, like a lot of the furniture in my house are made by me. At one point, I opened a furniture factory here, and I did pretty good for years.
Yeah, I mean, furniture sells,
So, but like painting, I think what I like to do is just painting. Yeah. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then show it. And I don't give a fuck. Like, this is what
You can also change it so many times. Like, you can do something and not like it and just go right over it and spend hours, like, in the zone doing what you love.
And I said it recently because when she got older, like, I never did the small canvas and stuff because I don't have the time but when she started hanging out and she became elder, people start asking for canvases, and I always say no. And now I'm like, yo, and she's like, no, papi, we can make it. I help you. Like, well, let's do it. I'm okay. So now she taught me
how to paint canvases.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because I didn't know.
One time.
Brushes are different for different things.
I taught him, like, very well. He got the hang of it in December. We were painting for our art show. We had so many pieces throughout the whole studio. I was jumping back. I would grab a color, do every like canvas with the color, and then go around. I walk in one day, and he is throwing coffee at the canvas because one of the lines was off, and so he tried to lick it, but it's paint and canvas. Like, you can't just lick it off.
Smudge it.
He threw coffee at it, tried to get it off. I was like, never again. So I sat down with him.
How is it how is it working with your dad 24/7?
It's honestly a lot of fun. It's a lot of experiences that we got to live together. It's also been it was hard at first because at the end of the day he still is my dad. So trying to find the balance in
between
work,
like friendship
and father and daughter and everything was a very big struggle.
The lines can get blurred very fast.
Very fast.
I think we managed pretty good.
But we got it down packed, and it honestly is he's my best friend.
We don't fight
everything.
We don't fight a lot.
I think for the young kids and for them, I think the biggest thing, which you said it earlier when you were talking about your situation with Ruben, where you got that opportunity. You go in there and you do whatever you need to do to stay with that and grow. Yeah. I think the number one thing with kids is being coachable. Like, you need to allow people to constructively criticize
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
accept accountability when you mess something up, and that makes you a person that you can mold and people actually want to be around you and get you better.
Yeah.
Because if you're always kind of like going against the
grain.
the grain and make it, it's like, okay,
You're
that,
difficult
that
to work
becomes
with.
a
Yeah.
fastidio to like, oh, I got that way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, never mind. You know, I'm just gonna go the easy way. Forget about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we did pretty good. We've been together for a long time.
Yeah, we've been.
She stopped going to school and everything so she could travel with me
Yeah.
and help me because I'm getting older and a couple of years ago I have the
You told me you had. That's what I was gonna ask you earlier. How did your life perspective change between your heart surgery and before and after?
it did, I mean, it was a blessing. I have 4 heart attacks and I have a triple bypass surgery, and it was tough at the beginning, but like right now I'm doing exactly.
Did you see life different or?
Well, not really, man. I always saw life the right way. I always used every day as a blessing. I always was thankful. I always was right. I always apologized. I always said things I love you to people I wanted to say it. I never hurt anybody in a meaningful way. So it did not really change. I was pretty good where I was at.
There's a few people can say that.
Yeah.
Not everybody
And,
can.
2 weeks after the surgery
was back at it.
we were painting. We were doing 3 murals for NFT week,
Yeah.
and he couldn't even sit in the front seat, and I was driving him around, and he couldn't even be in the sun.
Wow.
Nothing.
Painted 3 murals in a
Painted
week.
3
'cause I needed the
murals
money.
right after.
I was able to keep working, manage my bills. I didn't get in debt. It was a blessing, man. She helped me through all that shit, of course. Like, me, she and a couple friends, because they were big projects. But she would drive me, and I would just tell, take me here. Let's collect this guy owes his money. Let's go drop this painting. Let's go paint this shit. Let's go.
It was crazy.
And where do you see like next step golden? Like, what do you see in the future?
Probably like
What are you working on now?
it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird after this surgery, but I'm exactly where I want to be. Like, I don't want any more of what I have. I'm enjoying every day, and I'm just fucking loving where I'm at.
That's good. All right, bueno, Golden, a pleasure having you here. Great. I think we could do a round
Appreciate
2
it,
down the line. Thank you,
Mucho
Angie.
gusto. Oh, by the way, I want to make sure this gets recorded. When she becomes a famous artist,
Okay.
I was her first graffiti
You were my
teacher.
first graffiti lesson.
She brought her class to you too.
Yeah. All right.
She
All
brought the
right.
class to you. She
That
brought
was
the class to
awesome.
you. Yeah.
How many were you?
I think it was what, like 15 of us?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She got accepted to UM, and I tried to keep her, and I didn't really try too hard, but I was like, hey, it'd be cool if you were staying here. It'd be nice to have you in the backyard and have you be with us. She's like, I don't know.
I can't. I have to go to.
Good.
I have to
Now do your
experience.
thing. Now listen
I
to
mean,
fun.
listen. Worst case scenario, it doesn't go well. I
go home.
No, it will go well.
No,
Yeah.
It will go well, but worst case scenario, you go home.
you transfer, and I mean that's
Do your
fine.
thing. Just remember when you become really famous.
Golden was here first.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't forget the good people around you. I don't want to thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Angie.
Of course, it was